Today I fucked up by snooping on my best friend's phone right before our first date. A lot of context is needed here. My friend Emma, 21F, and I, 20M, have been extremely close for about 3 years now, talking pretty much all day every day and hanging out every chance we get. When we moved to college a few years ago, we started becoming physically close and I caught feelings for her. I was direct with her about how I felt and she got really angry with me, not talking to me for a week or two after until I apologized and took it back. Since then, she's apologized for how mad she got, but I can't help but still feel guilty for feeling the way I do about her. In October, we got to talking about how I felt. I had done my best to not make my feelings an issue for her, and at that point I finally felt ready to get over her once and for all. I told her that I thought I needed closure, and that I would like to hear directly from her that she did not and would not like me. She told me that she didn't feel that way about me, but hesitated to rule it out in the future. I wanted to keep the conversation light, so I started half-jokingly exaggerating the lengths I would go to take her on a date. She eventually said, "I'll tell you what, if we're both single in March, you can take me on a date." I fully did not expect this, and I didn't know what to say besides yes. I went out of town for the week following that conversation, during which I talked to my family, who basically told me that I shouldn't wait 5 months for a girl who doesn't want me. This made me feel really uncertain about what to do and how to behave around Emma, so when I got back into town and we ended up snuggling at a party, I asked her why we can't do the date now. She told me that she needed to get her shit together, and we compromised by moving the date to January. I wasn't fully okay with that, but I said yes anyway. She had been cheated on by her ex a few months prior and I didn't want to push her to do something she wasn't ready for. Fast forward to election night, where we're watching the election coverage and getting drunk. As I get up to go to the bathroom, I see her getting a call from a contact named Dominic, 3. I try to not let it bother me, but I can't stop thinking about the condition that we both be single at the time of the date, and my family saying that she doesn't like me. I know that I should have just asked her who he was, or better yet not worried about it. I didn't do that though. Instead, when she left her phone beside me when she went to bathroom, I unlocked it and looked through her messages with Dominic, 3. She had left most of his texts undelivered, other than one of her saying that she had a nice time at a party. I was relieved to see that she obviously wasn't really interested, but I simultaneously felt awful about what I had just done. That night I confided in my roommate, Emma and I's mutual friend, that I had snooped through Emma's phone, and that we had this date planned. Emma had also asked me not to tell anyone about the date, another fuck up I had. A few weeks passed and I had mostly forgotten about the incident. On Thanksgiving, however, I get a drunk call from my roommate, telling me that they accidentally told Emma what I did. We haven't spoken since, and she hasn't returned my initial texts or calls. We were supposed to go to 2 parties this weekend, but I've decided that I probably shouldn't go. All I want to do at this point is apologize. I acted selfishly and out of insecurity, and I hate that I hurt her of all people. I really don't know if she's going to forgive me, and I imagine I for sure fucked any chance I had of dating her. She's told me that she often feels like I'm the only person that belongs in her life, and I feel like I've soiled that. I just feel like an idiot, and like I ruined the strongest connection I'm ever gonna have. I should have never said yes to the date in the first place. I should have never looked through her phone, and I should have never told my roommate. Too long did not read. Got the opportunity to take my best friend, crush on a date, but ruined it by snooping on her phone because I saw her talking to another guy. Edit. Thanks for your replies everyone. I've never really discussed this in such detail with anyone before, and it's nice to hear some outside perspective. I appreciate your bluntness, haha. I think that's just what I need right now. In case it isn't obvious, I've never been in a relationship before. I've had casual experiences, but I've been too hung up on Emma to pursue anything serious outside of her. I've done a lot of work on my self-esteem this year, and I think whatever happens I'll be okay, and I will learn and grow from this. I want to make things right with her because I really do care about her as a friend. I know I mean a lot to her, and knowing that I hurt her is the worst feeling in the world. But I also understand that I need to move on and I deserve someone who wants me. Whenever we end up talking, I'm going to own up to my mistake, no excuses, and whatever happens happens. I will update if and when that happens. Update. We talked tonight at a coffee shop. I apologized for what I did, and I apologized for the position I put her in. We agreed we needed to take some steps back. For me, that means as little contact as possible for at least the next few months. I have a lot of reflection to do, and a lot of scary, new things to try, putting myself out there. Things will never be the same with her, and I'm okay with that. I'm optimistic for the future. Thank you all for helping me keep my head straight through this. Find a girl who is excited to go on a date with you. Expect better for yourself. Look, I am sorry but I think you need to hear this. Anyone who sees you a few times a week as a friend but promised you a date with conditions in a few months isn't interested. Cut your losses now. Any girl that tells you to keep your date a secret is a huge red flag. She is either ashamed of you, or there is someone she is trying to appear single for. Everyone gets this way at some point. You think she's the only one, that it'll never happen again. You're wrong. I look back on when I thought those things and laugh. You will meet someone else and it will be even better. Stop catastrophizing. She's not that into you, find someone that is. You're her plan B, for sure. You'll pine away for her for years, watching her date other men, waiting for your chance. All the while, losing out on your youth and prime dating years, when you could be finding someone that's actually interested in you. I mean this in the kindest way possible. Grow a pair and move on. It's okay, she was never interested. You're her fallback. It'll never work out. Move on. Today I fucked up by letting one rip during Oppenheimer's silent bomb scene in my father-in-law's barn theater. So, here's the setup. My wife's entire family gets together every year for a big holiday dinner at her parents' farm in Florida. It's a huge place, think barn turned airplane hangar, complete with a movie theater setup because my father-in-law is a tech enthusiast with 2 planes parked right there. Yeah, it's as bougie as it sounds. After a massive dinner, lots of beans were involved. Critical detail. We all gather in the barn for movie night. My father-in-law suggested Oppenheimer because he couldn't stop raving about how the sound system would blow us away during the bomb scene. Now, my wife's family is ridiculously hygienic, like, they probably got hand sanitizer brands on speed dial. So everything is always prim, proper, and pristine. Anyway, we're all seated in these fancy recliners, bellies full, and the movie's dragging on a bit for my taste, but I'm being a good sport. Then comes the moment, the Trinity test. My father-in-law had hyped up the sound system so much that I literally braced myself, hands over ears, expecting to be launched into a sonic apocalypse. But here's the kicker. The bomb goes off, and silence. Absolute cinematic silence. Meanwhile, I, thinking this was my cover, let out the mother of all releases. We're talking long, echoing, unapologetic. I was so confident the explosion would drown me out, but nope. I quickly realized my mistake when I removed my hands from my ears and saw my wife's face of pure horror. Her mom looked like she just watched me bomb Hiroshima. My father-in-law? Oh, he was laughing his ass off, which honestly made it worse. The cherry on top? This family is so over the top about cleanliness that I basically committed war crimes in their sacred space. Now, I'm lying in bed, my wife is still mortified, and I'm debating whether I'll be banned from the next year's gathering. Moral of the story. Never trust Christopher Nolan to cover your mistakes. Too long did not read. Let one go during the silent bomb scene in Oppenheimer in my father-in-law's barn turned movie theater. Whole family heard. Wife is mortified. Father-in-law laughed. Mother-in-law hates me. Even if there had been sound, what did you think would cover the smell? Open mouth smile. I become death, destroyer of recliners. Should have immediately said, this sound system is incredible. This is delightful, and I honestly understand everyone's reactions here. Terribly embarrassing, but unintentional and really quite harmless, so you won't be living this down. Roll around in the shame, and hopefully y'all can laugh about this in future. I read this to my husband, and he commented that expecting to have a nuclear explosion cover your toot, and failing, that's quite special. Oh God, this one got me. I think I peed a little.